Welcome in everybody for the PD Coordinators webinar for the beginning of 2026. I will be your host today, but Krista Mosher is going to do all the heavy lifting. Um, so do you want to do the housekeeping? You want me to, Krista?
Go ahead, Wayne.
Okay. So just remember you got your floating control panel down on the bottom. On the far left hand is your mic icon. If there's a red line through that, then your mic is on. If you can't hear or we can't hear you, then you might want to have to click on the caret next to it and make sure that you're to the right device. Um, if you're still having some problems, private message out to me or reach out to the DEPDC, and they should be able to walk you through that. Right next to that icon is your video icon. If the red line is through that, your camera is off. If the red line is not there, then your camera is on. If you start seeing that you get a little bit of a lag in your video, or we start sounding a little bit funny, then you might want to turn off your camera to preserve bandwidth. You're going to want to have your participant pod open so that you'll know who is in here, and you also have control over your camera and your mic there as well. Your name will be the very top one on the list. So if you don't see yourself on the very top one, it's probably because you're using a name that you don't even recognize. So if you could change it to one that we will recognize, although you don't get, excuse me, although you don't get PD credit for being here, we do want to know who is in here. So if it logged you in as Apple Phone One or something like that, make sure you change the name to something that we can recognize, preferably what you're known as in the PD portal. Right next to that, you'll have the chat pod. You'll want to have the chat pod open. That's where you can send messages to us, and we'll send messages to you. Remember, if you are private messaged by somebody or you private message anybody, that you'll want to make sure that you're set back to the whole chat. It should say everyone on there so that the right people get the right message. And then remember, you have your reaction buttons. Use them at your best discretion. I always like to point out that if you put your hand up, it stays up until somebody puts it down. If you use any of the other ones, they'll stay there for 10, 15 seconds and then they'll go away. That is it for the housekeeping for today. I'll make sure that you put your questions in the chat and we will get to them as soon as we can. With that, I'm going to turn it back over to Krista.
All right. Thank you, Wayne. Thank you for joining us today. We've got a lot of slides to cover, so I'm just going to get right to it. Our agenda for today is updates from the DEPDC and the CPPDC, new training and conferences, statewide events, the monthly webinar series, testing, PD portal announcements, and PD coordinator time. So let's go. So, Ashley, it
Yep.
is your turn.
Okay. Even though it says Ryan, I am Ryan today. Okay, you can go to the next slide. Welcome everybody. Happy New Year. I'm gonna go quickly. So just a reminder, if you're here last year or end of last year, you may have remembered I mentioned this then. We have the digital literacy toolkit is here. This is for everyday adults building real digital skills. We have explored 32 step-by-step lessons with 22 short video lessons that you can access anytime. Build confidence, independence, and opportunity. We cover email, computer basics, Microsoft and Google, internet and online security, and online job search. So you can access that either by scanning the code or by going to the bit.ly link that was just dropped in the chat. We also have a Digital Navigator Essentials training of trainers that is coming up on January 29th through the 30th. The extended deadline is tomorrow by the end of the business day. So we can probably drop the link for that in the chat as well. But basically, participants are going to learn about strategies to build a digital navigator program so that you can train adult education staff on how to implement a successful digital navigator program at your place of business. Okay, you can keep going. Um, our next Tech Intel is January 16th with Dr. Glenda Rose. This will be from 11:30 to 1 o'clock. It is on Classroom Screen, which is a really fun tool. If you haven't used it before, we encourage you to join. And then she is coming back on January 23rd, and she is going to cover brisk teaching. So personalized instruction with AI right in your workflow. So please join us for both. They will both be really fun and amazing. We're also bringing back Lunchtime Bites. If you joined us in October, we did Techtober, which we did almost an entire month full of Lunchtime Bites. These are 30 minutes of digital tool interaction and learning. These are not presentations. You will not see any PowerPoints. This is just 30 minutes to engage in a technology tool as though you are the student. And maybe you will find one that'll inspire you to want to use it in your classroom. The first one we are doing is FigJam, which will be Tuesday, January 20th at 12 p.m. Next slide. And then the second one we're doing is Poll Everywhere, which will be with Melinda Tooley. You can keep going. And we do have a new course announcement also, AI for AEL. This is a new 8-week course that will blend asynchronous and synchronous learning opportunities to create an engaging and unique interactive learning experience. You will learn about basics of Gen AI and prompting, using Gen AI to create and adapt resources and taking it to the classroom. So the nice thing about this, you complete the modules you wish to focus on based on where you are in your AI journey. So for those of you that might be more experienced, you don't have to start with the first one. You can pick and choose the ones you want to complete. So this is also great for beginners or those with experience using Gen A. So to get better understanding of how this course will work, there will be a 30-minute orientation on February 6th at 2:00 p.m. That's coming soon to the PD portal. Again, distance learning and technology integration hybrid symposium will be May 15th through 16th this year at Irving, Texas. So save the date for that. That is a Friday and Saturday. So we're doing the days a little bit different this year because we wanted to reach more teachers. Next slide. We also are extending those proposals. If you are interested in doing presentation for us at DLTI, we have extended the application for proposals to January 30th. You can go to the next slide. And we do have new posters. So if anybody is interested in getting a new call center posters, we have brand new ones that just came in. Just request the posters and swag. And I think somebody just dropped the link in the chat. Do we have more? Okay, that's it. Thanks.
Right, thank you, Ashley. And I think we got all the links in there. And we'll go ahead and move on to Liz Moya with the career pathways.
Thanks, Krista. If we could go ahead and go to the next slide. Hi, everyone. I'm Liz with the CPPDC, and I'm really excited to share a little bit more about some of our initiatives. But first, I just want to give a big shout out to our team who's here today. It's Lisa Carlo and Sharman Toomey. The initiatives that I'm about to disclose would not be possible unless it was through their hard work. So the first up at bat is the Workforce Integration Academy. If you haven't heard about this, well, you're in luck because the Workforce Academy is going to be an initiative that targets program teams where they're going to work together for systems change within career pathways. And this is really exciting because I know that last year TCAL had provided an IET boot camp, and some of those in attendance today may have participated in those offerings. So this is going to be an extension of that work, whether you or your program were part of the IET boot camp or not. The Academy is open to everyone. And so again, it continues where that work left off, and program teams will work together and they're going to gain some practical tools and resources that will benefit. They'll be able to benefit from some networking opportunities and learn from experts in the field. And the whole reason behind this is to improve on employer engagement and that workforce systems integration, foster collaboration across sectors, education, workforce, and industry, because we know how important partnerships are. And then, of course, we're going to look into data-driven strategies to help us enhance those career pathways and those outcomes for our learners. So next slide, please. And so here's the nitty-gritty about that academy, the who, what, when, where, why. And so on the who aspect, we are targeting AEL and workforce practitioners. So this is like a new spin on things. It's not just geared for adult education practitioners, but we want to also engage your partners or soon to be partners. And so we really want to be this cohesive team that we can work together in building out your local career pathway systems or enhancing them. And so this is going to be a 9-part hybrid series. It kicks off in January, and I'm sorry, it kicks off in February and culminates in June. And so it's going to be a mixture of 2 live events with 7 online webinars. These are synchronous events. And so we really hope that you will consider joining. So share the news, go back to your provider, tell your leadership, and spread the word about this great opportunity. And so those dates again are from February 11th. It is if you or your program are attending the AEL Institute, this falls on Wednesday, February the 11th in the afternoon. And then from there, it kicks off webinars about every 2 weeks. And then it ends at the symposium being held in San Antonio on June 6th. So let me see. And we're also going to have a community of practice that will kind of help cement all these activities together. Next slide, please. And if you would like more information, because that was just like a really brief overview, we will be having an information session. It's going to be scheduled on Wednesday, January the 21st, just in a couple of weeks. It's going to be at 1:30 Central Time, 12:30 Mountain, and there will be a registration link provided soon. Next slide, please. And of course, if you want to know more about the CPPDC, you're more than welcome and invited to join some of our events. On the left-hand side, you see that, like I mentioned before, we have the TWC Institute, but we will be doing a session about our agency, introducing the CPPDC, what we do, what's our purpose, what are some of the initiatives that we are rolling out. So we would love to connect with you there if you are joining. And then, of course, like I mentioned, we will have the Academy on February the 11th. On the right-hand side, we are also presenting at Taley, and this is a session focused on serving individuals with degrees from other countries. So make sure to join that piece. And then we are gearing up for a Teacher Tuesday on February the 24th. And once we have additional information, we'll share that with you. Then on the last slide, we're just taking some questions. If there's any questions, you can place those in the chat, or you can also reach out to us. I'm going to go ahead and put our email in the chat and reach out to us. So thanks, Krista.
All right. Thank you, Liz. A lot going on. You guys hit the ground running. We are so thankful that you are a part of the professional development system we have. So thank you very much. And Ashley as well for the DEPDC. I have not seen any questions. All the links got put in, but if you have any questions about anything, make sure that you put them in the chat and we will get them addressed. All right, next section is on new training, conferences, and statewide events. And Glenda is up first.
Hey everybody, last time we met, we talked about a concept PD in 15 minutes for some of our instructional staff that may find it hard to get through the Manager Monday, Workforce Wednesday, those daytime webinars. So according to your surveys, the best time ended up being Wednesday between 5 and 6, and I haven't decided what time. The next thing I need to know is what topics you think would be most useful for your instructional staff. If you only have the category like POW or Lit or specifically specific items about ESL or GED or basic training for the IETs, whatever that may be, if you guys could take that poll and let me know, and then I can start formulating a plan for getting those PD in 15 minutes out to you guys and hopefully get those also in the portal to have some other options for instructors who may have limited time and just need quick bites to get through items. If you have any questions, let me know. Otherwise, that is it for that.
Thank you. Paula?
Thank you, Krista. The next 3 slides I'm going to share with you are all sponsored by Literacy Texas. So if you have a program you work with that is a community-based organization or a volunteer program, please share this information with them. And then you are also invited to these events. And it's some great professional development. The screen you're seeing right now is focusing on high school equivalency and GED. It's Thursday, February 12th, and it's an online course. So there's no charge for that. Literacy Texas just requests that you register for the course, but it's a 1-hour course and it's going to focus on strategies for integrating the workforce readiness and family literacy into your HSC and GED classes. And thank you. The next is another virtual event, so you can sit and get this as well, and it's Communications That Work. So it's targeting essential communication and marketing skills for leaders, and is how to make them successful. It'll be on Tuesday, February 17th from 9 to 10:30, so that's an hour and a half of PD. And you can see, and all they do is they ask you to register. Some great sit and get opportunities. And then the final slide is the Far West Literacy Symposium, and they put on a phenomenal regional symposium. It's 2 days, January 22nd and 23rd. It is in El Paso, as Isleta Community Center is sponsoring it, and they just ask for you to register, and that's really so you get your free breakfast and your free lunch as well as your PD. So I encourage you to share this with everyone. Thank you.
Thank you, Paula. Up next is Beth to talk about our AEL Institute.
All right. Thank you, Krista. Just a reminder, it's coming up February 9th through the 11th. We'll have the post-conference sessions will be the PD coordinators and then the Workforce Integration Academy that CPPDC was just talking about. The registration link is there. Krista's going to talk a little bit more about the PD coordinators session a little bit later in our webinar today. But a couple of notes that we wanted to make sure that we mention to you. There is a room block for the AEL Institute, and there is a room block for Taylor. So one of the questions we ask on the registration page is, are you going to Taylor as well? And what we're doing is behind the scenes, we are pulling a report for the hotel to make sure that you get to stay in the same room. So you'll have 2 room blocks, one for AEL Institute, one for Taylor. But we'll make sure behind the scenes that you stay in the same room. The other thing I'll mention about the hotel block is when you go to book your hotel, the price that comes up is $193, which is over the state rate. but they have like a mandatory 3% charge that's on there. So that's showing. But when you actually do go through and get your hotel confirmation, it'll say 186, which is the hotel, which is the state rate. So don't get freaked out if you see the 193 when you get your reservation, it'll be 186, which is the state rate. All right. And then our next slide is about Taylor. And we hope that you'll come to the PD coordinator session and stick around for some of the wonderful sessions that Taylor is going to be sponsoring for the next couple of days. And then we do have a special event that's coming that we're going to do at Taylor. So we'll go to the next slide and I'll let Krista talk a little bit about this. I think we mentioned it last time, but we want to bring it up again.
Absolutely. Thank you. Yes, so I mentioned last month about the Counted Out movie. It'll be Friday night, February 13th. And I am super excited about it. And if Wayne will put the link in there, please go to that, check out the trailer, and it's going to be a really fun evening. Yes, it's all about math, but it can be fun, I promise. And PD credit will be awarded. And as soon as I get a little bit more information, we'll get the registration in the PD portal so that we'll have the sign-in sheets and be ready for the PD credit. So just bringing that up one more time. All right, thank you. All right, next, is this Beth or Wendy?
I think it's me again.
Okay.
I'll take it. And so, as you know, we decided not to do the Leadership Excellence Academy this year because our start time was while all of us were going, are we funded? Are we not funded? We're not sure. So what we did in its place for just this year is a series of virtual leadership trainings. We had our first one in November. The next one is coming up next week. It is full. I'm afraid. I will let you know if some people drop, but right now it's full, which is fabulous. That's like 40 people. So that makes me really happy that there's obviously a lot of people that are interested in leadership. And this is leadership not just for directors, but also for coordinators, instructional lead, people who want to grow their leadership skills. So the next one will be March 5th. It is available for registration in the PD portal now. And the topic for that one is leading versus managing, decoding the difference and its impact, kind of looking at the fact that we need to have both. We need to be leaders, but we also have to manage. So that will be on March 5th. And I think that's it for me. Oh, no, I've got one more, I think, Krista. Just an announcement, we had kind of a holding place for COABE. COABE conference will be coming up April 12th through the 15th in Indianapolis, and registration is now open. So there's the registration link for COABE. The other thing to keep in mind if you're going to register for COABE is you do have to get approval from TWC to travel out of state. And Krista, I don't have that link in my slide deck. So we'll grab the link for the form that you have to complete for TWC to approve out-of-state travel. So we'll get that in there in just a second. All right, that's all for me.
Yeah, the link wouldn't link in the notes for some reason this time. So if Wayne can grab it right from off the slide, that'll be the live link. Maybe it was just me this morning.
Okay.
Very possible. But yeah, that just takes you to the DocuSign form on the SharePoint for TWC. All right. Moving on. Again, I didn't see any questions. Jessica did put in there about you'll only be charged once for your stay. Going back talking about those hotel arrangements and such. DoubleTree is really working hard and trying to keep this as convenient and organized for all of us. All right, next section is the monthly webinar series. So Wendy, you are up with the Manager Monday.
Okay, I'm here. Hi, everyone. The next Manager Monday is this upcoming Monday, January 12th. Time is same as always, 12 to 1 p.m. The topic this month is AEL Corrections Services. So Veronica Moore from TWC will be leading that discussion. And part of what we'll be discussing are things like correctional educational policy, clarifying definitions of correctional services, and then also a little bit about addressing updates to coding in teams for your participants who are in correctional situations. Another note is we will be canceling or just not having Manager Monday in February. We have a lot of, it's very close to the AEL Institute, and so it was just one thing to take off TWC's plate for leading the discussion. So no session in February. So if you did mark that in your calendar, you can remove it. And next slide is just the 2026 dates. Thank you, Wayne. He has placed them into the chat so you can mark your calendars if you have not done so already. And that's it for me. Thank you, Krista.
Thank you. All right, Teacher Tuesday. I am super excited. Catherine Netter, one of our T-Call PD specialists, is going to be here, and she's going to talk about unlocking potential strategies for teaching justice-involved individuals. And this session is not just for those that teach in the prisons and or jails. This is also for regular classroom teachers that may get somebody that's on parole or probation. I know when I was teaching, I had several come in. Her presentation is going to be extremely interesting and is full of strategies to help with these particular individuals, but also just in the classroom in general. So that will be Tuesday, January 13th from 12 to 1, and registration is available in the PD portal. And then on February 24th, which is a week later than our normal Teacher Tuesday stuff, we're having the CPPDC come in, and this is just a kind of a general topic title for workforce preparation skills. But I also wanted to make sure that you notice that it is an hour and a half long session. So it'll be from 12 to 1:30 on February 24th. And we will get announcements and such out as soon as we have all the details for you. So please put that on your calendar. And then the dates for just coming up into the spring, February 24th, March 17th, April 21st, and May 12th for Teacher Tuesday. All right. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Krista. Workforce Wednesday. The next one coming up is January 14th. It's going to be the Texas Digital Literacy Toolbox Kit. And they're going to focus a little bit more on how it aligns to the whole workforce literacy continuum. So hopefully there'll be some good stuff there for you to pick up. You can go to the next slide. And then in February, we're going to, I invited Catherine Netter back to talk about justice involved individuals with a little bit of a um, twist on workforce reentry, some of those challenges and that kind of stuff, so that it's more related and focused on the workforce part of what we do for the students and the special issues that people who are justice involved are going to have to deal with that other people may not have to. And then the next slide. And I noticed that I didn't change the 2025 to 2026, but these are the 2026 dates that I have that we've got worked out. It's as we establish dates beyond May, we'll go ahead and put them on there. And of course, you can keep looking for what is on particular dates. I don't have anything set for March, but I do know that there's some interesting possibilities there. And I think that's it for me. I hope to see you guys at 12:30 on a Wednesday.
All right. Thank you, Wayne. I have the slide deck open and I changed that date and it automatically went and did it. So yay. So anyway, you're correct now. The webinar series, again, we can't do these sessions without you. And if you have input of anything that you would like to see on any of our Manager Monday, Teacher Tuesdays, Tech and Tells, or Workforce Wednesdays, please reach out to those of us that are on those individual series. All right. Any questions? All right. Not seeing any. We all good? Okay, I'm moving on. Test announcements. So this will be our Dr. Olga.
Hi, everyone. Good afternoon. I just wanted to say thank you to all of those that completed the test TOT survey. The results are on the screen. So we appreciate the responses because as I mentioned in the email, we're using the responses that we got and the data that we have to plan the spring TOTs. So if you see from the responses, we had 18 that completed the survey, and then we had 4 that opened it but did not complete it. So this is just a reminder that we need a minimum of 5 people to hold a TOT. So if you look at the responses, it appears that the most popular response was the TAPE 1314 online training, and that's with 16. I believe that we may gather more data before we set any trainings, but I will be back in touch with you on that. Or you may hear more at the PD coordinator session at the workforce conference in February. Next slide. And if you have any questions about test training, you can reach out to either myself or the TOT team member, Paula Bauer. She's my TOT teammate. And our emails are on the slide, and I believe that Wayne placed them in the chat. But that's all I have for y'all, and thank y'all so much.
Thank you, Olga. All right, again, I don't think I saw any questions come in, so we will move on. PD portal announcements. Dr. Rose, you're back up.
Okay, I just wanted to remind everybody that the certificates for live events do require 70%. We've had people reach out that had less than 50% of their event attended. And I understand that there might be Wi-Fi issues or something like that, but it's really not giving you credit for PD if you're not there. So please make sure your people know they do need to be 70% in the event in order to get a certificate for a live event. It's 80% for the on-demand courses, so it's actually a little more generous than our on-demand courses. Our reporting add-on is still at Texas A&M, but we did figure out how to make your reports out. The PD portal team is working on that. We hope to have those all sent to you by the close of business tomorrow, so you know who in your program has taken what. And we are ramping up with some additional instructional designers to get some of those backlogged live webinars curated and through post-production and get some of those old courses that everybody liked back up and ready for you. Next slide.
This
Thank you,
is
Glenda.
G.
Thank you, Glenda. Hello, everyone. My name is G. I'm LMS coordinator. Today, I'm going to walk you through some important PD portal tools and reminders. Going with the first one, download the Canvas student app from your App Store or the Play Store. And the step goes here, open the app and tap on Find My School and enter txpdportal.instructor.com, then click Next. Log in using the registered email address and password if you have trouble signing in. Use the forget password option or email us at pdportal@tme.edu. I've also posted these steps in the chat. Once you're logged in, you can access your dashboard, view your courses, and explore everything you need. Moving to the next slide. Let's look at how to download your transcripts and certificates from the PD portal. Go to txpdportal.com and log in. Click on your name in the right-hand side top corner of the page and select the student dashboard and go to the completed section. To download your full transcript, click on the PDF transcript button. If you want individual course certificates, use the view and download button next to each of the completed courses. I've also put these steps in the chat. Moving to the next slide. TCall will be closed for Martin Luther King Jr. Day on January 19, 2026. During this time, phone calls and emails will not be monitored. We will resume normal operations on January 20, 2026. The DUPDC will still be available for technical assistance, but please keep in mind that they cannot help you with course content. Moving to the next slide. Just a quick reminder, if you or your staff ever need any help navigating the PD portal, you can visit PD portal section of our website. We have step-by-step instructions and helpful guides available. If you still need help, feel free to email us at pdportal@tma.edu. Next slide. If you need support outside normal hours, DPDC can still help you. You have the contact information and the timings on the screen. That's everything I have for today. Please remember to share this information with your staff. It will help them access their courses and manage their PD records more easily. If you have any questions, please drop them in the comments. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, G, very much. All right. Any questions? I know he gave a lot of technical information about the app and the PD portal and transcripts and stuff. Does anybody have any questions that they would like to ask G or the PD portal team, as they are all online right now with us? So is there anything that any of you have had issues with or would just like to know about? Thank you, Robert. Appreciate that. Just giving appreciation for the hard work and can't wait to get those reports out. You and me both. All right, so Elizabeth says, so we're not able to download staff certificates. And then the next question, will these steps also work to retrieve our instructors' transcripts as well? So PD portal team, if you guys could take those two questions.
Here, I can answer them. Elizabeth, no. But if you'll have your staff download their own transcripts or certificates and send them to you, we can do that. And then, as Glenda said, I am actively working on doing those reports for you right now so that you'll have them tomorrow. And then for your own transcripts, the same steps.
Yes, and again, the PD portal team is very quick to answer emails, so please email them with your specific questions and concerns. All right, let's press on. Oh, there's another question there from Elizabeth.
Yes, it will look very similar to the old reports that y'all had for every quarter.
Yay. All right, awesome. Okay, PD coordinator time. I don't have a lot to talk about. I did want to bring up the PD plan follow-up is due February 15th. Your PD specialist is standing by to assist, and they will probably be reaching out to you. When you are finished and you are ready to send it, please send the completed spreadsheet to the AEL contracts and send a copy to your PD specialist. That just helps us to make sure that we know we have taken care of. We've gotten every program has sent in their deliverable. And I've given you the website here for where to send it. And they also TWC asks that when you name your file and your email, that it has your contract number, the grantee name, and the deliverable name in the email and the file, because that just helps them organize and know what they're getting from whom. So please keep that in mind. February 15th, of course, that is the week that we're at AEL Institute and Taley. So you may need to get it done a little bit earlier, but there you go. All right. Any questions or comments about the PD plan follow-up? All right. Glenda, I'll have Katie come back on and do that in just a quick second. But yes, we'll definitely can spend some time on that. And I'm going to skip this slide. I got a little out of order. All right, so I did, Beth mentioned about the PDC coordinator session that we are having at the AEL Institute post-conference. So because of that, we are not going to have a PD coordinator webinar in February. Our 3-hour session is going to take its place. So you have, so when you go into the registration, you can register for just the post-conference for the PD coordinator session, and also the same with the Workforce Integration Academy. And I've just given you a couple of screenshots. So if you're registering for the PDC session, you'll say, well, how will you be attending the main conference on February 9th? And there is a selection now that says post sessions only. And then how will you be attending, or will you be attending? Yes, in person, or yes, virtually, or no. This will let us know exactly who we're expecting face-to-face and who we're expecting online. And your PD specialist team is fired up and excited about this 3-hour session. We're going to have 8 updates about the PD portal, the contract trainer database. We're going to do a leadership communication exercise with our TCAL LEA team and test your knowledge in an interactive game covering testing, teams, PD requests, and more. So please make sure you join us virtually or in person, and please make sure you register even if you're doing it virtually so that we know and we can make sure you get the link. All right. Did I cover that, Jessica and Beth, okay?
Yes, ma'am, it looks good to me.
All right, perfect. All right, so going back to the any questions slide, and I'm gonna let Katie have it back and talk a little bit more about the reports, because that's exciting that we're getting those in. So I will be quiet and let Katie take it.
Thank you, Krista. Yes, very exciting. They're, as I said before, they'll be very similar to kind of what you had on Cornerstone. I'm trying to format it in a way that is similar so that there's not many issues. So it will include that participant name as usual, the name of your program, just to make sure that they are in your program. It'll have all the courses they've completed. An additional piece that we're having right now is we're going to have that total score that they got in that course. So as Glenda mentioned earlier, you have to have 80% or above on curriculum to get the credit, and then 70% or greater on in-person events to get the credit. And then it will have the date they earned it, and then the hours they earned along with the total hours that they earned. So very similar, just a little change with that grade that they got as well, just so y'all can see that they actually earned that credit.
All right, excellent. All right, does anybody have any other questions? Do you have any questions about being a PD coordinator or your duties involved with that position? We can put them in the chat right now, or if you feel more comfortable emailing me and letting me answer them anonymously at the next session or whatever, please feel free to do that. I'm going to go ahead and move on. Future PD coordinator webinars. Again, February 11th is going to be our February meeting. February 19th is canceled. And then we're looking ahead to March 26th. That's going to be a little bit later because of spring breaks. We want to try to make sure we cover everybody and not have a spring break. April 9th and then May 14th. And that May 14th date may change, but we will see. We'll let you know about that in the future. Okay. I am continuing, I guess. Or Ashley, are you still on? Do you want to talk about the call center?
Sure, why not? I'm here. For those that do not know, or maybe some that are new to us, AEL, I can't talk. I've been talking all day. Sorry. The Distance Education Call Center is here. This is free tech support for your programs, for your teachers and your students. We are available 7 days a week from 7 a.m. to 10 p.m. This can be anything from distance education to online testing to support with virtual classes. We've got your team covered. If you need training sessions, in fact, I just did one this morning. I've got a really nice 45-minute one that is quick to the point and just perfect enough that give you enough information and your staff a little motivation to use the call center. So we also offer 3-hour workshops. We'll join your staff meeting if you want. We can do virtual or in person, whatever you want. We're here for you. So just let us know. Thank you.
Thank you, Ashley. And here's our chance for last minute questions. And then we also have another poll here to kind of get an idea about you as your PD center and your PD specialists. Is what kind of PD do you as a PD coordinator want for yourself? So there's a poll everywhere and the QR code. So we would love to know what kind of PD you would like. What would help you as you develop your skills? All right. And Robert has asked, what category does the DEPDC presentation fall under? That one is going to be other because it's kind of technical information about how to use the call center. Okay. All right. All right. So again, thank you for joining us today. Our next actual webinar is going to be March 26, 2026, but we hope to see all of you either online or in person on February 11th. Okay, Jennifer Hills, I think this is for you, Ashley. Do we have dates on when DL Academy returns?
I'm
And
sorry.
Dr. Rose is
I'm sorry. I walked away. I heard Deal Academy dates. Is that what you asked for?
right. That Jennifer Hills has just asked about.
Oh, of course she is, because she was in one of my sessions the other day. Yeah, I actually forgot to put that on here. So yes, DL Academy 1 should be on the PD portal by the end of the month. I am done with the content. I just have to do the last finalizations, but it should be up and ready to go by the end of the month on the PD portal. On demand course.
All right. Awesome. Thank you for joining us this afternoon and have a great rest of your January. Happy New Year, and we will see you in February.